Hi, I'm Elle, e-commerce executive at Concevoir. After an inspiring conversation with Dr. Maiza on PCOS and fertility, today I'm meeting someone truly special, a woman who's bravely faced PCOS and is ready to share her journey with us.
Before we start, can you describe about yourself first?
My name is Lina Azaian. I'm an economist, full-time and part-time content creator.
How do you get passionate about content creation and what keep you passionate about it?
I've always been a creative person. So as an economist working the 9 to 5 in a corporate environment, that doesn't give me the exposure to unleash that creative side of myself. So what started as a passion, it leads to something that drives me daily. It was when I realized that my content influence and inspire other people, and that gives me a deeper sense of purpose.
Okay, so what is the first thing that make you suspect that you have PCOS?
Back then, when I was in the university, I started to have irregular periods, but I never really put any attention to it, never saw a doctor about it. But then when I started working, more and more PCOS symptoms show up. So it was alarming. So I had good insurance, and then I decided to, okay, what about we see specialists and figure this out? And that was when I was first diagnosed.
As we know, if someone diagnosed with PCOS, they will feel lost. How did you educate yourself and manage this once you know that you have PCOS?
Okay, when I was first diagnosed with PCOS, it felt like a punch in the gut. The doctor explained to me how PCOS can affect fertility, how it can be hard for me to conceive naturally, it can cause skin problem, hard for me to lose weight naturally. And as someone who depends on appearance to make income, that was really terrifying. So I took a step back and tried to digest everything, and I learned to adapt a new lifestyle changes. And yeah.
So PCOS affects women differently. What is your biggest challenge?
Wow, my biggest challenge was when I had a face full of acne. We're not talking about the typical breakout, imagine the hideous post-fill pimples, cystic acne. It was terrifying, it was hideous. I could barely leave the house. I lose all my self-confidence. But then I took some time to relax, digest it, adapt some changes to my lifestyle.
Okay, Lina, what are the one thing that you wish you know earlier about your PCOS journey?
Well, first of all, I wish someone had told me that I have PCOS and there are safer ways to manage PCOS.
Do you think PCOS awareness in Malaysia is improving?
I think it's getting there, but the awareness is still lacking, and not everyone has the privilege to see good specialists, to tell them that, hey, this is what's happening with your body, right? And sometimes these PCOS symptoms can be seen quite trivial, and people might just brush it off as something normal. And that was what happened to me. I tried to treat those PCOS symptoms individually, which led me to spend thousands of ringgit. If only back then someone has told me that, hey, Lina, you have PCOS, and these are the safer way to manage PCOS, I might not have to go through all those painful journey that I had.
As a content creator, your content is more like beauty and fashion. So how PCOS influence your content creation?
PCOS has definitely shaped my approach. It has made me more mindful of the ingredients of my beauty, skincare products, how fashion can complement certain body changes, and the importance of living a balanced and healthy lifestyle.
Okay, Lina. So as a content creator, have PCOS affected you and how you deal with that?
Well, PCOS has its challenges, with weight fluctuations, skin issues. I have learned to focus on what I can control. So if, let's say, today I wake up feeling extra bloated, in a fashion sense, maybe the same jeans that looks good on me today might not look good on me today. And I'll tell myself that's okay, it happens. So those kind of self-care and self-acceptance is what is the key to my confidence. And I want to share that mindset to my audience.
As someone who shares their life online, have you think talking about PCOS can normalize others?
Okay, so 100% I agree. When someone with significant presence on social media discusses PCOS, it helps to normalize the topics around it and helps to let others know that they are not alone, right? So it's not just about sharing my journey, it's about creating a sense of community. Hopefully, we can guide them through a safer way to manage PCOS symptoms. And I hope that this collective discussion that we can have around PCOS women could help steer them away from, maybe self-medicating and going through harmful treatments, harmful supplements, and encourage them to go through a safer way to manage PCOS.
So, as a content creator, how do you use your platform to empower women?
I believe in fostering a community where women feel seen and supported. I aim to break the standard practice around fashion and beauty, and I want to encourage women to embrace their unique body changes and diverse skincare needs.
Lina, since you diagnosed with PCOS, have you had to adjust your routine or habits to better manage your symptoms?
Yes, so managing my PCOS while trying to live the best of both worlds require intentional habits. So I've made some small changes like having better sleeps, mindful skincare, stress management. Those really greatly impact to keep my PCOS symptoms in check while trying to stay productive.
Okay, Lina, as we know, foods play a bigger role in PCOS. So, have you found any dishes or ingredients that suits your condition?
Well, I have. The thing about local Malaysian dishes, it's often unhealthy, calorie dense, packed food with artificial sugars and greasy. But the truth is, healthy food doesn't always have to be expensive or westernized. I just found out that ikan kembung have higher omega-3 than salmon. So I get to keep my favorite local Malaysian dishes, but I have to tweak the way that I prep the meal. And my current obsession is sambal ikan bakar.
Oh, wow, nice. Good. Sambal ikan bakar. Alright, so we know PCOS linked to stress. Do you have any self-care habits or do to stay balanced?
Okay, so I do practice positive affirmations in the morning. It helps to frame my thoughts throughout the whole day. It actually gives me that little pick me up in the morning. But then I continue to work out, trying to get some endorphin kicks in. And then I listen to audiobook while exercising. So I think that 1 hour before you start your day is really important. It can help you have that emotional and mental well-being in check.
So, what's your words of encouragement that you want to share with someone who's struggling with their PCOS?
If I could look you into the eyes and hold your hands, I would tell you that you are not alone. You're not a defect person. It's just that your body operates differently than others, and PCOS doesn't define you as a woman. And with the right care and support, we too can live a fulfilling life.
Hi, can you first introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi, I'm Syafiz. I'm Lina's husband. I'm a business developer. I manage a few businesses for high net worth individuals and companies.
Okay, Syafiz. So, when did your first time learn about your wife's PCOS condition and how do you feel?
I first learned about my wife's PCOS was during one of our doctor visits. During the appointment, the doctor mentioned all the symptoms, the small symptoms that we've been seeing is actually PCOS symptoms. So at first I was very concerned. I was worried and I felt a bit helpless, I would say. And all I could think about was how can we solve this?
How do you support her through the challenges of the PCOS?
The first thing I did was I educate myself what is PCOS because it was something new for me. So it's something that a lot of women are struggling with. So when you understand something, it's easier for you to I wouldn't say fix it, but to address it. Yeah. So one of the things that were very important was because of the emotional volatility when you have PCOS, you have to manage her when she's like have these moments, I would say emotional moments. So when you understand the underlying conditions, you tend to be more patient, and you're not trying to fix things, you're trying to listen. And when you listen, you sometimes the things that she's emotional about, it tends to solve by itself. And another thing that I do often is being a practical partner. Her mental capacity is like very, how to say, occupied because of the emotions, right? The mood swings. So I tend to lessen the burden. For example, house chores, you do the cooking, do the dishes and all this kind of stuff. So because I understand what PCOS is, you tend to know what kind of food she needs to eat.
Okay, Syafiz, have you made any lifestyle changes together to help her manage her symptoms?
Yes, we did a few changes in our routines, especially, for example, right after the morning prayers, right, at 7 in the morning, we go to the gym and we do like at least a 20-minute workout, but very light workout for her. Back then, we used to do like running and stuff, but now we have to do something more light on the body, right? And another thing is that I cook more often than I used to, like a lot more. We cook almost every day, right? Yeah, and sometimes and during weekends we have to like do the meal preps as well. So it helps a lot in reducing our time preparing all these healthy meals for the rest of our days. Yeah.
Okay, so what advice that you will give to husband that's supporting the wife with PCOS?
I would say first thing is you have to stop thinking about fixing a problem because it's not a problem in the first place, right? So you listen more, and when you listen more, you can I wouldn't say solve, but you can address her emotional the emotional aspects of PCOS, the effects of it. I would say support her in terms of going to hospital visits with her. Don't let her go alone, and then help with the house chores at home because that lessens her mental capacity in dealing with these things.
Okay, Lina, could you leave one message for women with PCOS and a self-confident?
PCOS doesn't define you. It's not the end of the world. Your worth as a woman isn't defined by this condition. You know, your self-care and self-acceptance, it is what makes you confident.